When defining a man, I always have to go back to the life book, and first of all, God created man in his image and likeness. And that means we have the image and likeness and character of God, right? So everything that God is, we are. And that's not just for male, that's for male and female. But men in particular, right? We were made in his image and likeness. And then after God created man, he took man and put man in the Garden of Eden. And the Garden of Eden essentially was the presence of God. And again, we go back to having that spiritual relationship, having that spiritual foundation in our lives. It's important, right? And it's something that, I feel like we've been given the blueprint on how to be a man, right? How God wanted us as men to operate in the world, right? We needed his presence. And then the second thing he gave man was work, right? God told Adam to, spend your time identifying everything that you see in my presence, right, in this garden, and name them. I'm giving you the responsibility to name them. And then the third thing God gave man was a helpmate. And that's when Eve came along. And, a lot of times we change the categories based on how we feel, right? A lot of men, we look for woman before we look for work. And we ignore the presence of God, ignore the spiritual relationship. And I feel that too has a lot to do with the state of men and where we are in our communities. So that we need to revert back to what God intended for men in particular, right? He intended it for us to be in his presence. He intended it for us to work, like be productive. And then he intended for us to find a helpmate that we can, multiply and reproduce and just create generations. If men can get to this point, to get back to that point, I should say, I feel like we'll be able to build our boys, right? Be able to cultivate young men, young boys into men of good character and men of good stature.